Hey guys, it's early. I'm heading down to my local coffee shop to do some work. And I was just thinking a little bit about self-regulation. Surprisingly enough, even a lot of adults have a hard time with self-regulation. I've struggled before because I didn't really gain the skills growing up for what healthy self-regulation looks like. So as an adult, I've kind of just figured out my own way on what I can do to get kind of control over my emotions and react in ways that are healthy instead of just being reactive and acting in ways that are unhealthy, especially towards your relationships. And so I was just thinking about yesterday, one of my younger kids called me a brat, and I was already a little bit overwhelmed. And I wouldn't have called my parents a brat at all, because that's just not the household I grew up in, where we could freely express what we were feeling. And so it hurt my feelings, and I just took a step back, and I was just like, okay, she called me a brat. That doesn't feel good. For me, self-regulation looked like I went and I just sort of laid down for a few minutes, and I just kind of let myself process what was going on, because like I said, I was already a little bit overwhelmed, and then to be called a name by my little kid was kind of hurtful too. In the moment, you kind of want to lash out and you want to discipline him and be like, just say things maybe you will regret or that kind of thing. But I just took some time to lay down for a few minutes, and which must have looked weird to my husband, because he walked in the house and he was like, "Hey, you okay? What's going on here?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just trying to self-regulate." But anyway, so let's get to the brat. Okay, so obviously my 6-year-old's vocabulary isn't as big as mine. So when she says, "You're just being a brat," which, by the way, she didn't get that word from me, so she got it from her siblings. But anyway, when she's calling me a brat, she could be saying a lot of different things. She doesn't necessarily mean that I'm a brat, even though she may not like what's going on. She could just be trying to say, "Hey, I don't like what's going on," or "Hey, I don't like this," or "Hey, I disagree with this." But all those feelings that she's having is coming out in the form of, "You're acting like a brat." And so if I can just take a second and realize that she's actually trying to say something else, even though she's being kind of hurtful right now, it really helps me to kind of chill out a little bit and handle the situation a lot better than maybe I would have if I wasn't taking the time to just process the information. So, you know what? After a while of laying on the couch, I feel better, so I decided that I'm going to get up. And you know what? A few minutes later, she comes to me and she apologized. She said, "I'm sorry for calling you a brat," which was just really sweet. And so I just want to encourage you guys today that if you're feeling overwhelmed about something, it's totally okay for you guys to go take a time out, and just think about things for a while. And after she told me that she was sorry for calling me a brat, I said thank you, because that actually hurt my feelings. And so you can actually have a good, healthy conversation with someone. And it doesn't just have to be your kids, but it can be your kids too. But just taking the time to self-regulate and allowing yourself time to process. You don't have to process things right away. Matter of fact, when we try to process things right away, typically we're going to end up saying or doing things that we don't want to say or do, especially if we don't have practice processing our emotions really fast. It's totally okay to take some time and figure out what exactly it is you're feeling and what exactly it is that you need to say. So anyway, I hope this encourages you guys. Take the time to process your feelings and self-regulate. It's totally okay. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.